Okay, everybody, happy Friday afternoon. We're going to do an update on the Ohio dentist case, which I feel is super compelling, super sad as well. We're here at TED Investigates. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I usually do them at nighttime, but I have plans this evening, so wanted to hop on board and go through some of this with you. So let's go over. Hopefully everybody can hear me good. Let's go over some of the new things that the case has been brought to our attention in the last 24 hours. Okay, so for those that don't know, I can recap, but let's go over the newest headlines. Okay, woman near home of Ohio dentist and wife called 911 after hearing banging on her door in the middle of the night, days before the killings. A nearby resident told authorities that someone was smashing on her door 11 days before Spencer and Monique Tepe were found dead inside their Columbus home. A woman made I'm reading right from this People thing. Need to know. A woman made a 911 call near the home of the dentist Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique days before they were found dead. The woman called emergency services after hearing someone banging on her door in the early hours of the morning. The killing of the Tepes remains under investigation. A woman told authorities that someone was banging and smashing on her door in the early hours of the morning, just days before Spencer, and I believe it's Monique, or I think they pronounce it like Monique Tepe or Moni Tepe, were found dead inside their Columbus, Ohio home. On December 30th, dentist Spencer and his wife, Monique, were found fatally shot inside their home after the Columbus Division of Police responded to calls for welfare checks on the couple. Police later shared in an incident report that they were investigating the couple's death as a double homicide and not a murder-suicide, and that's because of the fact the gun was not found. Okay, we're jumping around here. It's now been revealed that a woman living on the same street as the Tepe family called 911 on December 19th, 11 days before the killing. Now, this is very interesting. On the same street, there was a woman that called at 2:30 in the morning about someone banging down her door. The female in question claimed that somebody was banging on her door at 2:30 a.m. local time, according to the audio footage obtained by police. The woman said in the audio heard by people that someone was smashing on my door. This is what she said, word for word, verbatim. Smashing on my door. I think they're trying to get in. They're banging on my door. She told the 911 operator that she didn't know who it was at the door and she couldn't see them. So she didn't have a description of them. She also said she asked them if they wanted or needed something. Now, her voice was very calm if you listen to the audio. Needed a drink. Records obtained by People stated that the problem left at 2:44 a.m. Okay, so you have the time frame of 2:31 a.m. all the way to 2:44 a.m. So you have about a 13-minute window of this incident happening, which is a pretty long time when someone's trying to break into your house. I couldn't imagine how horrifying this would be. The incident occurred, which was a 3-minute walk up the street from the Tepe's house. Okay. Let's see here. Now, the call details come after police said earlier in this week that detectives believe the killing of Mr. and Mrs. Tepe occurred sometimes between 2 and 5 a.m. 2 and 5 a.m. Okay, it was in the upstairs of their residence. Per a post shared on social media, police also shared video footage of a person of interest walking in the alley near the Tepe's home during that time frame. It was previously reported that a domestic dispute 911 call had been traced to Spencer and Monique Tepe's home months before the couple's slaying. However, Rob Measley, Monique's brother-in-law, who I spoke to, unfortunately he didn't give me time, but he was a very nice gentleman, has since told People I am 100% no, that is not Monique's voice, adding that the voice did sound like anyone else he knew either. Whatever Fox News showed, I think, just maybe pinged at their address. That's probably a neighbor, he said. It's so obviously not Monique's voice. It's not them. Okay, so we cleared that. That was a little bit earlier in the week. In the call made in the middle of the night. Oh, wait. So this is the call made where he said it was absolutely not my sister's voice. So there could have been like a domestic dispute at like a house party or something weird, but I don't think it's related. In the call made in the middle of the night on April 15th, the woman was heard weeping and telling the dispatcher that she no longer needed help. She was just being emotional. I don't want to do rumors of like an affair. I just don't understand why someone's calling the police in the Tepe's residence. And again, I don't want to throw shade at the deceased and speculate, but when you think of different things about a woman's calling the police, she could have been intoxicated from a party. Maybe she had a fight with her husband there. Couples get together. That seemed like a nice area where you could have cocktails and enjoy life. And sometimes with alcohol and a big group of people, things can kind of get a little out of hand. Not saying that's the kind of stuff that I partake in, but that does happen, right? Alcohol causes people to be emotional, causes people to say things, and it also can cause abusive people. Because she responded because me and my mom got into it, but I'm okay, I promise. Well, interesting. So the call in the middle of the night was April 15th. A woman who was heard weeping and telling the dispatcher she no longer needed help and was just being emotional. When asked why she had called in the first place, she responded because me and my mom got into it. Okay. Family, drinking at a party, her and her mom got into it. That's totally then has nothing to do with that at all. Okay. Let's go. Oh, and make sure if you like my content, please just subscribe to the channel and like. It really helps out. Okay, Misla, who's married to Spencer's sister, initially told Surviving the Survivor podcast, great podcast, you should check it out, that the 911 call was made during a house party. Okay, house party at Tepe's home. But has since clarified to people that the incident he recalled on the podcast was from years earlier, and he had mixed up dates. She said, my man, I don't know who that could have been. Misla told people of the women on the call insisting that that's not how Monique spoke. Okay, let's toss that one. I think we got that figured out. Just give me 1 second, everybody. Okay, a friend of the slain couple who would have been celebrating their 5th wedding anniversary later this month also told people that they were madly in love and still acted like newlyweds, which is sweet. And this is just such a sad story. After Spencer and Monique's bodies were found, their 2 children, 4 and 1. That's horrible. I can't imagine just never seeing your parents again. It's horrible. Were discovered inside the residence and were physically unharmed. They are now in the care of extended family members, including Misla and his wife. And they want you to know, so anybody watching this, even anyone has information, is urged to contact investigators at the Columbus Police Homicide Unit at number 614-645-4730. So if you see anything suspect, anything out of the ordinary that night, you heard gunshots, maybe, obviously they have that video surveillance, which I'll show here, of the person walking. They have the video surveillance of the person walking, but just not that guy. Like, where did that guy go? Check your video cameras, check your store cameras, gas station cameras, ATMs, street lights. I'm sure they're holding a lot of this in their back pocket, but, we want to see where these people go. So, okay, so now we have, let me check. So this is just like my news highlight. If there's anything else we're missing for today. So I just want to give you like any breaking news today. Well, I've done this. Ellie video, no forced entry. Okay, here we go. So no forced entry. I know they were talking about that. Thought that was strange. There was no forced entry with no sense of forced entry. Surveillance video and details emerging from the crime scene where the Ohio dentist and his wife were found killed, offering investigators analysts clues about how the crime may have unfolded, even as police have not identified a suspect. Columbus police recently released the grainy video, which we all seen, walking through an alley near 37-year-old Spencer Tempe and 39-year-old Monique Tempe, their Wineland Park home between 2 and 5. Former Fort Worth Police Chief Jerry Halstead said the timing of the video stands out, particularly given the winter weather conditions. That's a great point. What would be the reason for going out when it's that cold in that region with that kind of weather condition? Halstead told investigators. And again, you can look at his photo and he's covering up his face and it's extremely hard to see. So that looks pretty obvious. I don't know if you guys saw the other photo where it almost looks like he is walking away, and he hits himself. I don't know. It's very strange. Okay, let's see here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Okay, next up. Okay, Halstead cautioned, however, the investigators must determine how the video relates to the killings inside the home. The challenge is going to be how that is relative to the horrific crime that was committed at their home. Police have not named a suspect in the double murder, and Halstead said releasing video early in an investigation often signals that authorities are seeking help from the public. If you look historically, the release of a video very quickly is usually due to the facts there is no identified suspect at the time. If you look at okay, makes sense. Peter Valentine, an associate professor of forensic science at University of North Haven in Connecticut, said the video may also be significant for what it reveals about the individual's behavior. It seems fairly obvious, which it does, that the person who's walking in the alley, either sees the actual camera or has had some general awareness that a camera's in the alley. Very good. That's a very good point. So has he been there? Does he know where the cameras are at? Again, you're walking down the street in the middle of winter. Most of us know most houses have cameras. So even if he wasn't sure, you just kind of assume, or I think most people would. But it is kind of fishy because he knew kind of where the cameras were. I don't think he knew 100%, but I think because you don't want to get caught looking at it, but he definitely knows there's cameras and he's got his hood down. So Valentine said the video provides investigators with a timestamp, a narrow geographic focus, allowing police to refine requests for additional video from homes and businesses. It narrowed down the time frame at least for the egress. But at least for the egress, he said, referring to when the person was leaving the area. What we don't know is how, long they were in the area prior to this occurring. Were they there beforehand? Is this person known to have known the couple? Not forced entry. Have they been there before? Police have said there were no signs of forced entry. That's big. Halstead said that. Details very deeply, deeply concerning in a case involving such a violent crime. When it looks like access was either granted or the ease of access was accomplished, then there's a relationship or previous access that was made, right? See, there's a previous relationship, there's previous allowing that suspect, that person, to be in the house when you're not forcing entrance in. And someone saying, yeah, come on in, okay? He said, adding that it would be unlikely for a young professional couple to leave their home unsecured overnight. Oh, I guess that's a good proof too. He may have, they could have easily left the door unlocked. I just think it's a targeted attack to me, though. Like, why are you going to that home? I know that area, they said it was kind of an up and coming area where it had a little bit of crime. I mean, it was a beautiful house. That's what I heard too on News Nation, that it was kind of they had their share of crime, and what neighborhoods really don't. I mean, if you live in a really nice neighborhood, depending on the population of the town, how many people that actually live in the town will kind of gauge on the crime, right? There's only so many people where it's just a numbers game, right? So that could be something. But detectives really wanted to point out that there was no sign of forced entry, and then you have a guy walking in the middle of winter with his hood over his face, and you can't see, and it looks very deliberate. No signs of forced entry doesn't mean there wasn't forced entry. It just means that no sign was observed. Okay, so yeah, that's true, because you could have knocked on the door or did something and then pushed your way in, and then the door just shuts, or you could have just walked in. Detectives believe the murders took place between 2 and 5 a.m. Both of the children were found safe, thank God, inside the home. Both experts said the fact that the couple's children were unharmed may eventually help investigators narrow their focus. Okay, so it wasn't like a lunatic. Well, it was a lunatic, but it wasn't like a crazy serial killer. Well, you could be a serial killer, but if you're leaving the girls alone, you're not like one of these Hannibal Lecter people. Hey, let me just say hi. Hey, good to see you. Okay, now let's keep going. Okay. Help investigators narrow the focus. Historically, it leans to the person not having an extreme mental illness, Halstead said, adding that it could suggest familiarity with the family or children, though he said that investigators would need to confirm that through evidence. Okay, I think that's an open-ended question there, or an open-ended statement where it's like, yeah, he might not have mental illness. He still shot someone with a shotgun and blew them away and killed them while their children were home and broken in the middle of the night. That's a pretty aggravating factor. That's pretty brutal. place of residence is your safety net. That's your comfort. And violating someone's house, that takes, excuse my French, that does take a lot of balls. That takes risky behavior. Leaving the kids alone, I could see how leaving the kids alone, he's not the worst of the worst, but he's still a horrible human being. So he's not, yes, anytime you go after children, that ups the ante and makes it horrendous and horrific, but you're still broken to someone's safety. What's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, just slipping off my tongue today. They're like safe haven. Their love, their family home. Like you're violating their home, which to most people that are normal, I don't want to say normal, but most people understand like breaking into someone's home is a traumatic experience for those people. And it's one of those things where you're really crossing that line on someone's home. That's something that no one would ever get over. And then you're shooting them to death and you leave the kids. So yeah, you may not be 1A of psychopath, but you're definitely 1B in my opinion. Oh, hey, I'm glad he left the kids, but they're going to have a very hard life. Okay, they're going to miss their parents. They're going to not know their parents, right? So now they're just going to kind of recap what the family said. Police have said investigators remain ongoing and have asked anyone with information related to the surveillance video or the events surrounding the killings contact authorities. In a statement, the couple's family said they're heartbroken beyond words and called their deaths tragic and senseless. There were extraordinary people whose lives were filled with joy and love and a deep connection. Okay, so now we have, if we look over here, there's the Tempe residence, and that's a nice house. All right, so the video where this guy's walking at the alley, I wonder if I can get Google Maps. Hold on, let me just try to see. Do you have a garbage there? That looks like a car. Let's see if we have any garbage on the streets that day. No, that might be from behind the house in like the alleyway. But so the perpetrator would come in through the front, I believe, or they would have to go through the back of the garage and then hop over the fence is what they were saying. And I just find it highly unrealistic that you're going to climb over a fence that cold and then slip on ice or something. I feel like the front entrance would be the way to do it. I mean, I guess maybe not, but I just feel like they think he went through the front. He took his gun with, so it's not a murder-suicide. Okay. Next up. Yeah, make sure if everyone could just if you can. Again, if you don't like the content, don't like it, but it just helps out with the algorithm to get more people on because I did a little bit of an earlier show. I usually like to do it around 7. Wanted to get this out earlier. Okay, so we'll go back into it. Family members describe Monique as a loving, patient, and joyful mother who was warm to find her. Rob Meisles, Spencer's brother-in-law. The couple's going to celebrate their 5-year anniversary next month after getting married. That's pretty good for like even a brother-in-law to remember about their 5-year anniversary. So that kind of shows that they are in love, that, or at least in my opinion. Let me do one last thing. And we're building out the studio. We are going to have all the share screen and all the great video content. So we're only going to get better. We are going to be really good once we get this studio. It's just taking forever. Okay. Let me take this off. Give me 1 second. I appreciate everyone's patience. Let's see if there's anything else. Dr. Tepe. Okay, here's the obituary that just came out. And that's going to be really tough going to an obituary. Okay, Monique and Spencer Tepe remembered in an obituary. Funeral arrangements announced. This is just terrible, terrible. Funeral arrangements have been announced for Wineland Park couple found shot to death in their home. Monique and Spencer were discovered by friends. Okay, wait. Funeral arrangements have been announced for Monique and Spencer, the Columbus couple fatally shot. I'm not going to name the funeral place just because the suspect's out there. I don't know. It's just in poor taste. I want to leave the family alone. The couple's 2 young children were physically unharmed inside the home, along with the couple's dog. Visitation will be held at 3 p.m. on January 11th. I'm not going to name the funeral home. Brief celebration of life starts at 2:30. Okay, and then here we go. It just recaps again. Columbus Police is just telling you, hey, Columbus Police have not publicly publicly identified any suspect or motive in the Tepe's death. I'm sure they have a lot in their back pocket, but police released security camera footage showing a person of interest walking through the alley. Funeral home releases new details. Let's see this. Monique was also in love with the children, and she worked at a daycare. While she was a student at Ohio State University, she received her master's degree in childhood education after having couple's 2 children. She was a stay-at-home mom, known for her bright smile, infectious laugh, and caring heart and personality. Spencer was born and raised in Cincy, graduated from Mason Public Schools before attending Ohio State. That's probably where they met. He received a Doctor of Dental Surgery degree and was passionate about the field that he lived in. Thank you very much. Oh, let me comment. Thank you. Oop, I think I spelled it wrong. Sorry. Okay. Now we are going to, I'm just trying to find anything out of the ordinary, because sometimes when you go into, let me check, you know what has it? In politics aside on this, Daily Mail. I don't even know what side. I think they're pretty biased, maybe, or I could be wrong, but Daily Mail sometimes has, let me just look at my phone. I just want to make sure I'm getting you guys the most up-to-date updates. And then another thing you can do is you can go on Twitter, and I can do that too. And sometimes Twitter gets stuff that they don't have. Let's see, there's nothing going on here. Okay, no new Tepe stuff. Let's see. Okay, no new Tepe stuff there. Let me check Twitter real quick, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I just want to get you, I try to get you the most up-to-date news, because, you know, by the time like Nancy Grace gets it, it's weeks down the road. And I'm not knocking her. I think she's awesome. I know when you check Twitter, stuff just is like lightning fast. So I should have been more prepped. I did this because I just got done working for the day, and I'm like, oh, I need to do a podcast, and I have stuff going on this evening. Okay, let's check it out. I actually might have to go run and get water. Would you guys mind if I got water? Hold on. Okay. Let's look up, and I'll be real quick, and then we'll go on to the next subject. Spencer Reeby, or TP. God, I can't say the guy's name, the poor guy. Just TP and Spencer just keeps messing with me. Okay, the latest news on Spencer. This is up to date. So this, like I belong to this thing that has all the journalisms. Okay, here we go. The Columbus, Ohio police chief is speaking out for the first time since the mysterious murders of dentist Spencer Tepe. I feel like I saw that last night. Let's see, the Columbus chief speaking out. This case is definitely disturbing, she said. This was as of 22 minutes ago. The investigation into the crime involving Spencer Tepe, a well-known dentist, and wife Monique in Columbus, has revealed a possible connection to an incident reported days before the homicide. So that was that call. Key points of the case: the discovery and the couple. Wait, I wonder if this is just okay. The discovery on December 30th, the couple was found lifeless with gunshot wounds in their home. Their children and pet were unharmed. No robbery. Authorities confirmed there was no forced entry or theft. That's interesting. Suggesting a target attack. So it was definitely a target attack, or one committed by someone with access. The prior report on December 19th, so I already said this, but 11 days before, so investigators right now are even looking more into that call. Police of that 2:30 call of an unknown individual trying to break in. You know, the thing is, if you have the Ring camera, then you can kind of see who's the person of interest in the Reeby case, where you could be like, or TP, are these the same people? This week, okay. Spencer and Monique's home today as flowers continue. Okay, so flowers keep flooding in, which is absolutely great. One theory. Okay, wait, let's see Y2K survivor, because I am a Y2K survivor too. One theory, and it's weak due to the no break-in part, but have you ever experienced bad dental work? Sometimes these dentists aren't the best in every case, and I could see someone growing resentment. You know, it's very funny that you mentioned that. Part of my career, I sold aesthetic devices to dentists, and I would be in offices, and I got to know dentists pretty good, and they made a lot of money. And they had people that were not happy with them. But again, yeah, it is a stretch, but I appreciate the feedback. Pure speculation, but thank you. That's just, you know, we're trying to think on all sides of it, right? So there's no bad theory in my mind, because it's like, that's a good opinion, right? You should check that out. Hey, did the dentist have anybody that has been a complaint that didn't like them? You know, you got to search an affair, which I'm not saying that that's what happened, but that's what detectives do. Okay, affair, the closest people. Okay, let's go to his job. Any altercations with his job? In time will for sure tell. I find it highly unlikely where some just like crazy guys going around breaking in buildings. I mean, I don't know enough about that break-in from that girl that called 911. Like, was that someone she knew? Like she said, I mean, she was scared, but like who's breaking in? It could have been, for drugs. It could be drug related too. So it could have been like a meth head running in, trying to break down homes. Uh, I just, I don't know. There's a lot of different working theories. I think that would be a little bit lower of a working theory, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's the case. There's nothing really new. I bet we get something over the weekend on this case. I'm fully confident. I'm going to run really quick just to go to the washroom and grab some water. Please stay and please continue to chat. Say what's up to everybody. I will be like 30 seconds. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to go over Idaho 4, and then we will do the Richard Allen. So I'm going to remove myself. And if you just give me 30 seconds, sorry, I drank a little bit too much. I have to say, and I only mean this by a joke, but it is the funniest thing. When I leave, there's more people that sign on. It's kind of funny. But which is great because when I take a bathroom break, all of a sudden 5 more people are on. So maybe I start doing that once every couple of minutes. I'm kidding. Okay, so next case. Does everyone feel like we got this covered, right? There's not much new information about this case. There's not much coming out. Okay, I'm going to put up the next case here. We are Idaho 4 sister's statement. Oh no, Idaho 4 sister. No, Brian Koberger sister. That's what I should say. Okay, Brian Koberger sister speaks. Maybe I got to type in speaks, and then I'll put the file up on the screen. My backs have kind of been against the wall. I forgot what her name is. It's not the one that went to the court date. It's just bear with me because we want to talk about what she was talking about. Speaks just 3 words. Brian's sister breaks silence. There we go. Here we go. And a little bit older news, but I want to kind of take a little bit deeper dive, and then I want to pick everyone's brains on what they think about Koberger, because there are a lot of people that they kind of call them pro burgers out there, and I love hearing other people's opinions on things. So, no, that's not. Hold on, I'm trying to find the sister. I guess let me see here. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Y2K Survivor, what do you think? Brian Koberger's guilty? I do, but I'm open to hearing opinions because I know a lot of people actually have their opinions on that. Brian, that's so weird. Sisters speak. Right. We might have to just use the slide from if we're having technical difficulty. Just 1 second. We're going to pull up the other slide here. All right. Going to remove this. And then can everybody hear me okay? All right, let me try to add what to stage. Hold on, slides and PDFs. Here we go. Okay, so with the Brian Koberger, the sister basically spoke and said, hey, we all were really shocked. She lost her job as a clinical psychologist. She shares an example of when Brian was back at his parents' house and her mother cut her finger. Brian jumped to the rescue and pretended to be kind of turned off by blood, but then he cleaned up the Band-Aid on her finger because I think she cut herself while she was cooking, and he wrapped it in a Band-Aid. He really loves his mother, Brian. He 1 second. He's really kind of a pansy with his mom. And again, I got nothing against Mama Boy, right? I mean, my mom would kill me if I said I wasn't a mama's boy. I do love my mother, but he zoomed 1,200 hours with her while he was in jail. Okay, let's see. This is my yesterday slide. Let's see if we can just pull this one up for the time being. But so if I was talking to Brian Koberger and he killed one of my family members, by doing enough research, I know he's so attached to his mother, and I may have taken a shot at his mother. And again, this is not taking the high road, but if you murdered my family the way you murdered them, you stabbed them that many times in their face and you can't recognize them. I mean, the amount of pain you'd have to go through. I would have, I don't know offhand, but I would have insinuated something about his mother, saying, yeah, well, your mother's out of jail and we do travel a lot around her area. Wink, wink, just to mess with him. Okay. We're going to add this now. Hold on a second. Where is Delphi? Okay, here's the Delphi stuff. All right, so this is the stuff that this is what's crazy about this case. And I know I'm probably beating a dead horse, but I know this is the way we spread awareness. We're going to get Ricky Allen out. You have to break down graphs, maps, Google Earths. When you're in a legal process, you have to show people maps, points of interest. Then you do the cell phone tower. Okay. So now, everybody, this is the map of the Monon High Bridge. I don't know if you can see my pointer. It's so weird you can't see my pointer. So the bridge is right there. That little red dot, that is Ron Logan's house. The girls were found. So if you follow that bridge, right where it almost intersects with that, you see where it goes right down over the water. He followed the girls there. They crossed over that field. He removed the bodies. And hey, Tracy, what is up? And that's where, we know he's at. So let's go to the next slide. This one breaks down. Okay, so you have Deer Creek. God, I can't believe you can't use a mouse during this live stream. 1 second. Let me try to make it bigger. Maybe not. Or unless we want to do this, would that be better? Let me try this. Yeah, that might be better, right? Does everyone think that's better? That looks better. Okay. Why can't I have, what does this style mean? Hold on. Let me just see if I can find a marker. People, private chat, media assets. Okay, I guess now. Oh, background music. Okay. Anyhow, okay. So here we have, and for those that haven't been with us, we happy Friday, Ted and Chad. Thank you, Tracy. So Tracy, we just went over the Ohio dentist. Any updates? And I just wanted to let you know really quick, there wasn't any recap outside of they do have a person, and I'm sure you probably heard about this, but like a week ago in that same neighborhood, there was a 911 call in the same type of house of someone trying to break in their house from 2:31 a.m. all the way to 2:45 p.m. and he was banging on the door and this girl did a 911 call. Don't know if that's related. Don't know if they can pull Ring video cameras to establish like if this is actually the person, but just wanted to share that with you. That's kind of what we're up to date. They had a press conference yesterday. The Columbus Police Chief of Police said, hey, we're still going through all tips. It was very they didn't have much substance to it. I'm sure they have a lot of things in their back pocket. Again, no gun at the scene, so it wasn't a murder-suicide. There was no forced entry. It might have been someone they know, might have been someone they're comfortable with. The door could have been unlocked, so there's a lot of things. Okay, now to Delphi. And this is where the map really, this is where the rubber meets road here, because we have the Monon High Bridge. Okay, so Monon High Bridge Trail. Okay, you had the County Road 300 where we're seeing the workers that were driving back and forth, right? We have the Hoosier Hardware Store. We have downtown Delphi, the CVS where Richard Allen works. And Richard Allen's just walking around one day. He's looking at his stock ticker. He's got a daughter. He has no clue how his life is going to be changed that day. Just think, put yourself in his shoes and have something like that happen. It's crazy. So just people out there always, watch your P's and Q's and, make sure you're at places that, I always tell, I tell family members, I always say, make sure to keep your head on a swivel. I tell my friends, family, make sure you always keep your head on a swivel in life. Because we do live in a world where there are predators, there are people that are out to hurt people. And it's their genetic makeup. They don't have empathy. Their frontal lobe, they do not have empathy. They're not like you and I. They don't have a conscience. And again, it could stem from when they were born, how they were treated when they were younger, or it could just be who they are and the interactions and the people. Don't ever talk to the cops. No, I'm definitely not going to talk to the cops. I've actually heard some pretty shady stuff about how the cops try to find you if you're a YouTube podcaster. I don't know if that's true or if that's reckless speculation. But I found out about another channel that they did some pretty nasty stuff to, and they had law enforcement officers show up to a podcaster's family house, and they, this is allegedly, this is just what I was told last night, and they made it seem Delphi had a long reach of law enforcement officers, especially Indiana State Police, and they had someone in New York checked out, and they went to their parents' house and said, hey, your daughter's suicidal. And she was a podcaster. Like they tried to turn her world upside down and lie and slander. Hey, RC, what's up? Okay. Okay, so we have that Monon High Bridge Trail, and then we have the bodies where Abby and Libby were found, and it's on Ron Logan's property. Okay. Go through here. Oh, we have Ron Logan's house. Did you get? Oh, here. So this is where it's a little bit better image. It's zoomed out. So you got the Monon High Trail. I wish you could see my finger pointing at this, but you can't. You got the Monon High Trail. You cross the bridge. You see the red dot, and you see where they're at. Exactly, Tracy. That is the comment of the day. Comment. Situational awareness. You know what? I take situational awareness and emotional intelligence, and I keep those two hand by hand. Okay, so, they're found on his property. Oops. Hey, Ricky. Okay, so in my earlier episode, we went over, I felt like it was very important to talk about their lives. I don't know were you guys on last night? I wanted to read a little background on Abby and Libby real quick, just the respective, I feel like we're always talking about going after the suspects, but we don't highlight the victims. So, yep. Oh, great point. Great point. I'm going to be going into Delphi soon. So, great point on that. Okay. So, I just feel so passionate. If you guys could just bear with me for 1 second while I read this thing on Abby and Libby. I think with all the stuff we do with them, I think it's also good to talk about the type of people they were. So again, this is AI. This is automated. They pulled all the data. I wouldn't have been able to find out that she was a softball player, and it really takes a deep dive. So if it seems scripted, it is. But again, like what teleprompter, what News Nation, Billy Politan, all those people have content creators that are digging information. They organize it for them and to say it. So I'm just going to try to go really quick because I know you're interested in some other things here. We got a lot of other really things I think you'd be really interested in coming up in the next 5 minutes. But I just wanted to read a little bit of background of their life because it's like a respect for the dead. Is everybody okay with that? Well, the crime scene was about, 1,400 yards from his house or 1,400 feet? I always get those two confused. Yeah, that's true. Okay, 1 second. Let's go to what I wanted to read real quick. Just out of respect for Abby and Libby. The area was too isolated. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy's going to comment. The area was too isolated. And please make sure if anybody hasn't subscribed to the channel, if you like the work I do, please subscribe. If you don't, it's completely fine. Hey, Deb, what's up? Okay. Where am I going, guys? I'm going Cocoa. I'm going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Well, that's awesome. You've been to the scene and attended many hearings. That's awesome. Okay. I am going to, let's see if I can put this on the screen here. Okay. This is just really brief, but I just out of respect, I want to share this. So let's remove this. Let's not add that to the stage. Holy cow. Wow. $49 super chat. Holy cow. Thank you. We really, really appreciate that. You're so kind. And I never want to put anybody in a tough spot where they got to donate. But I mean, thank you very much. Okay. That was really cool. That kind of threw me off guard. I would never expect anyone to do that. That was very sweet of you. And we really appreciate this ongoing support that we could give to Ron Logan. That was super generous. Okay. I'm going to go. Okay. 1 second. I'm going to share this. Next one, we are going to image file. Yep. Okay. Okay, I just want to read a really quick thing, and I don't want to bore you guys, but yep, you're right. Predators are everywhere. Okay, let me see real quick. Okay, I'm going to add this. I am getting a producer, and I'm going to pay with my own because I run a business, my own money, and it's going to be real buttoned up. So we're going to have a mic. We're going to have everything set up where you're going to be happy to constantly come to the channel. And I really thank you because the first people that have helped me start with this and the first people to show me support, you guys mean the world. Okay, 1 second. We are going to pull it up here. Doesn't even pull up. All right. Okay, so can everybody hear me okay? Okay, let's go to this. Add a stage. Whoa, that was not what I was supposed to add to stage. 1 second. Ooh, it's really minimized. Okay, I don't know why there's Christmas stuff on the screen, but I'm gonna read this. So that is what I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna read it to you guys. Um, and again, thank you so much for hopping on um, like last minute. Okay, here we go. Okay. In a town of fewer than 3,000 people, everyone seemed to know everyone. Okay, and I don't want to say stuff that you guys know because you guys have been in the cases, so I don't want this to be too scripted. So I'm gonna just pull different things that I feel that talk about the girl's life, and then we can end the description. At 13, Abigail Williams was a gentler of the two, an old soul, which is interesting, with a creative spirit and a quiet strength. Her mother, Anna, remembers that Abby's name, which means father's joy, interesting, perfectly captured her essence as she brought that joy to everyone who knew her. She was an artist with a love for painting and a love for natural talent for photography, a passion she shared with her mom. Her creativity wasn't just for herself, it was an extension of her kindness. Shortly before her death, Abby had taken up knitting small, colorful hats for newborns at the local hospital. I mean, look at that. She's an entrepreneur. She's I mean, wow. I mean, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but that's kind of like, hey, what girl's doing that? Making knitting and then going to hospitals? That's a sweet girl. Liberty German now was 14, was the outgoing, vibrant force in the friendship. Raised by her grandparents as she was a strong girl, Becky and Mike Patty, Libby filled her home with energy and affection. Her grandmother called her our baker, a girl who could whip up a batch of cookies at the moment's notice, always making sure to save some time for her grandfather when he got home. She was known for leaving little sticky notes with messages of love and encouragement for her family. Libby had a keen and curious mind. She dreamed of becoming a science teacher and was fascinated by problem solving and finding clues. Her family shared that she was so serious about this passion chat, she explored scientific fields through programs associated with nearby Purdue University, but her intellect was matched by her immense heart. Her grandfathers recalled a time she called to ask if she could give him the change from a $10 bill he'd given to her, another student who needed it. It was simple yet profound. Example of how natural she looked for ways to help other. Together, their friendship was a powerful bond, and I think we know that. They were a perfect balance. Abby's gentle creativity complemented Libby's echoing net nature. Another food for fact, they played the saxophone side by side in a school band for 3 years. These girls were attached to the hip. This is such a sweet and obviously horrible story, but it's good to hear about the good times they had in their life. It kind of makes you feel good. But their shared dream was on the diamond. They had, wait, I can't read this. They had matching bats, balls, and gloves, according to Abby's mother. They were dead set on taking over the world by softball, sorry. It was a dream fueled by their friendship, a true testament to two girls who believed they could do anything as long as they were together. It kind of reminds me of the Idaho 4 people. Where is Reeby? You know what? I started the stream probably too quick. Hello, everyone. If Richard Nell's so innocent, he shouldn't have confessed over 60 times. Well, I would like to debate you on that. He was going through psychosis. And again, your opinion is here. Let me remove this silly Christmas stuff. Hold on. I don't know why that's on there. You're entitled to your opinion. I think I don't know if you watched, I have no clue why it's doing Christmas background. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. I'll answer that question. How do I just get back to, No. Stay here, people. That's not right. Oh, here. I don't know why it's saying thank you. All right. Well, I guess whatever. This craziness. Okay. So I'd like to challenge you on that if you're up for challenging. Psychosis is a pretty serious thing when you're eating your own feces and you're throwing poop everywhere, banging your head against the wall, saying you're a Napoleon from World War II, or before that, you're not at the right mind. You're banging your head. The wife is like, "No, you didn't do it." He goes, "No, I did." He wanted to take care of his family. Exactly. Yeah, I think if I have a 113-page appeal that I read, and a good portion of it is Richard Allen going through hell. He was in solitary confinement for 13 months. He's already had anxiety problems, and that was just a really, really tough situation. Now, again, I'm not going to say your opinion doesn't matter. So when I was part on the outsider looking in with Richard Allen, right? I was like, Richard Allen looks like bridge guy, false confession, or not false confession. He confessed to a crime. I was like you, where I was like, he confessed 60 times. Well, if you watch the interrogation, how they coerced him and pressured him, and he kept looking the people in the eye, you'll never see an interrogation more one-sided. I was on Team Richard Allen. I watched thousands of interrogations. We have family who are psychologists that watch it, and they're like, this is the most one-sided thing. It's almost embarrassing for law enforcement. Look up the case from Iowa where the guy admitted to killing his father. Okay, the confessions are tainted by the state deciding to give him the yeah, exactly. No. Exactly. You're not in your right mind. You're lacking food, you're lacking water, you're banging your head, you're eating your own crap, and you're rolling it around with it for 4 or 5 hours. You lose your mind, you lose your brain when you're in solitary confinement. 13 months in solitary confinement can change a man and rewire your thinking, rewire who you're at. You're freaked out. You hear no noise. There's nothing. It's all quiet, and all in your brain plays tricks on you. He's definitely not guilty of killing them. He had the only thing they tied it to was an unspent round, and then they just threw him in solitary confinement and treated him like crap. And that's how you get false confessions. The guy that did it, okay, the guy that did it was the FBI. Okay, I go by facts and logic, just like you're saying, because obviously, hey, if someone's confessing it, maybe factually that could be true. FBI week one, girls were found on Ron Logan's property. Week one, cell phone pings putting Ron Logan at the exact hours of the murder, the time of the murder on the property. Why is he giving a false alibi when the crime wasn't even found that it was a murder crime yet? He called his cousin and said, hey, say this. The FBI wrote a paperwork that said when a suspect gives a false alibi before the finding of a crime, that is a 99% likely he's guilty. Okay? Ron Logan has the limp. He was bridge guy. His ex-girlfriend he beat. He was fond of girls. Okay? He did a jailhouse confession. He talked about the knife. What type of knife? Before the public didn't know. Razor blade. He told a jailhouse confession to another inmate who, by the way, didn't have any skin in the game, wasn't trying to reduce his sentence, okay, and said, I cut the girls. At the time, they didn't know he was in a neck slice. At the time, they didn't know it was a box cutter. And at the time, he also told Richie Davis that I told the girls to come see my animals. But what's crazy about that is Court TV, Barbara, spent a month on Ron Logan's property, and she got chills on her spine because when she heard that jailhouse confession about him saying, hey, I told the girls to come see my animals, that's what he would always say to her. So for Reese to have that many different data points is just crazy. Yep. You have to interrogate it. I mean, I can interrogate you in a room and do all these predator tactics and get you to confess to something you didn't do. They beat you, they tire you, and then you're eating your own shit. I mean, I would say you're not ready to talk about if you did it or didn't if you're eating your own feces. Okay, let's go. It doesn't matter if he's innocent. because he shouldn't have said it. This is why they need professional jurors and not random. Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have said it, but he wasn't in his right mind. I mean, Ted, wasn't RA forcefully drugged? Well, yeah, he was forcefully drugged while in solitary confinement with antipsychotics before the feces eating. If antipsychotics aren't actually indicated, they can cause behavior like that and confusion. 100%. Antipsychotics have, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a therapeutic, dose first, and then when they crank it up, depending each person's different. An antipsychotic is going to change and rewire your brain. I don't know if he was antipsychotic. I think he was forcefully drugged before the feces. Exactly, before the feces. Then, if you're truly not an antipsychotic, it's like being on shrooms and ecstasy or something. It really will rewire your thinking in your brain, and these drugs will change your brain. Okay, let's not forget about the new emotional rights violation by law enforcement. Exactly. And he was given 2 doses in the mouth in June. Doses were supposed to be 30 days. Yeah. I mean, they've done anything they could. Major depression. Yeah. Totally major depression. Let me see here. Just give me one more second, and we're going to pull up some other things I think will interest you. Okay, wait. I want to show you actually something. One second. Stay tuned. I jumped on because I know I have to take clients out to dinner tonight, but I wanted to at least see everybody. I know not a lot of people are on right now, but I want to do one thing. Bear with me. I think it's important, especially if you don't follow my channel consistently, or you have a busy life and you may miss the live stream. But I want to get this information to you. I'm going to send it to my email, and then I'm going to post it on the slide. And I'm doing this for Justice Jane 24. So Justice Jane 24, please stay on because I want to show you a few extra details. Yeah, I don't know if they ever got but wait, sorry, it's blank. Lindsay Hendricks. Yeah, I don't know if they ever got to the bottom of who approved the doses in June, but they should lose their license. Yeah, I mean, law enforcement pinned that on that guy. That's like when you have a sales job, right? You're under pressure. These guys haven't found the killer because they dropped the ball in the beginning of the investigation. They decided not to work with the FBI. They decided not to search Ron Logan's house in 31 days. His house was a hoarder house. The only part of the house that was clean was a newly remodeled bathroom that had new drain tiles and had new plumbing. It looked, and I have photos of that too. You can look on my page, so make sure you subscribe. But I have photos of the bathroom. You have a hoarder house, and again, I'm not dissing anyone that's a hoarder. I'm just trying to explain to you in detail of what that house looks like. And all of a sudden, you walk in, and it's like you're in a bath fitter commercial. So you're like walking through laundry and junk, and he's got all this antique stuff, which I like antique stuff, but it's just a hoarder's house. And then the one place that the FBI wanted to check, all the drains when you're showering, the faucets, rinsing off your hands, that DNA stays there. He remodeled everything. Let's see what else everyone's saying. He also got guards connected with right naturalist underworld. Yeah, I mean, it starts getting crazy. Have a great evening, can everyone, and make good choices. Thank you. Are you leaving, Tracy? Well, you have a good weekend if you're leaving. Okay, let me get this important thing. 1 second, just stay with me. Okay, I'm going to put this up. I'm not looking at it yet because I have to get you guys this thing I showed on the last stream. I think it's very, nope. I think it's very compelling. If we can get to it. Hold on a second. One second. Let's see if I can do it. Thank you for your patience. I promise if this wasn't such a shoot from the hip thing, we'd actually have my ducks in a row here. But I wanted to get some content out because it's about consistency with this. And sometimes and sometimes you just got to go, right? You just got to make sure you get enough content out for everybody. You got to make sure it's really good content, but you have to just sometimes just do it. Can't overthink it, right? There's no perfect plan. Okay, so I'm going to show you something very interesting here. Not yet. Thought you were. Oh, good. No, I'm not leaving. Hi, Ted. I just got here. I love your channel because you're smart and good looking and you look in the suit. Thank you. I probably don't like to read myself about being smart or good looking, but I appreciate it. Thank you for that. Okay, sorry. Oh, thank you. I admire the work you're doing. And again, I probably wouldn't read something of myself where it says I'm good looking. That just caught me off guard and I was reading. So I'm not like, I thank you for the comment, but I'm not one to be like, hey, let me read this so people can hear it. Like I'm getting older and I have to like zoom in when I'm reading on these things. But here, wait, I want to put this up. So give me a second. And then I might have to take a bathroom break. Just drinking way too much water today and had a lot of coffee because I had a lot of sales meetings. So I'm trying to front a lot of my money to get this thing up and rolling, to get Richard Allen free, get him with his family where he belongs. Okay, let me remove this. How do I remove the Christmas background? I mean, that would be the most. Here, wait. Now image file. Okay. I'm sure some of you have seen this, but this is for, hey, what's up, everybody? But this, God, why is there a Christmas background? I'm sorry, just give me a second. What is going on? I don't know how you can like not have that. I guess it's still kind of Christmas, right? Can everybody hear me? Oh, what just happened here? Wait, sorry guys, just bear with me for like one more second. Okay, now where are the comments? Okay. So for right here, okay, wait, I want to find the person that was questioning. Because again, I'm a big fan of open dialect. I'm not trying to like destroy it. Okay, here she is. All right. And again, we're not throwing you under the bus. I love a good debate. I like hearing your input. Maybe you got something that I don't know that, I believe in takeaways and I believe in learning from others and always listening. I believe probably 50% of what people tell me, just rule of thumb. But when someone has something about a case that we're discussing, it's always good to hear other people's opinions. I think when we stop hearing opinions of people and stop going over worthy dialect, that's where we can be in trouble as a society. Because I worked with many bosses in the past that it was their way or the highway, and there was other ways of doing things that would have resulted in doing it potentially a little better. But, okay, so Justice Jane 24. Here is, we overlaid Bridge Guy for you. Okay, so Bridge Guy, now this is the one where he looks chubby. This is the actual Bridge Guy that was released. And we overlaid Ron Logan. So look at the knees. He's bending on the knee. Look at the hand in the pockets, bending the knee again. Look at how you go from Bridge Guy and the transformation to Ron Logan. Okay? It is impossible to do the perfect comparison between persons in different photos due to variance in angle of the lens, lighting, pose, time, and photo, and other variables. However, when known person B's image is laid atop a suspect A's image in varying degrees of transparency, it seems to point out considerable similarities. If known person B was geographically near to the incident, and this is kind of the layer. And if you look at his hips, you look at his legs, Ron Logan walked with a stumble, broad shoulders, hands in his pocket. again, a chiropractor told me if you look at his shoulders, his one shoulder goes up. So we have a lot of proof. Okay, hi Ted, I just got here. Love your channel. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm just reading the same stuff. Ted in chatters. Hope all is well. Thank you, Lita Joe. LOL, a bit too festive. I know. I don't know how to change this, RC. RC, I do not know how to change this. Thank you. Wow, she really did leave. I mean, I just want to have open dialogue. I'm not trying to accuse her of anything. I'm just trying to highlight and get her opinion. Oh, I have hope again for the human race. How so? Hopefully our channel can help. Peak 3 looks like Ron Logan to a T. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Okay, this festive stuff is trying. I'm going bonkers. I don't understand how I have a Christmas photo. Here, wait. Remove from stage? Uh-oh. Whoa. That's a little too close up of me. Let's try again. All right, everyone's going to probably kill me. I'm going to need like another 30 seconds. I'm drinking water. These are so small photos. Hold on. Okay. 1 second. Happy Friday. Is everybody excited that it's Friday? Okay, so that's what I got. Now I'm going to go into Richard Allen on Twitter. Let's see any updates on the appeals. And I will be right back. If you guys could hold down the chat and try to get people to like the channel, that really helps the most. I will be right back. I promise next stream I will not drink like the biggest water possible. Sometimes when doing this, you get a little bit of cotton mouth. So my lips can go like this. So anyways, keep talking and make sure you like the channel and subscribe. So if you're new to the channel, all I ask is subscribe and see some of the content. And, you know, you can always hit the unsubscribe button if it's not for you. But this is a community we're really building out with friendly people. And I think if you're into the Delphi case, I think we have the best group of people that share their best opinions than anybody. I think if you were a defense attorney, I could literally just read the comments by all these members because they're such a high level comments that I'm learning everything every day. I'm soaking this up, and I'm just thankful to have this good of people in my chat that are this knowledgeable, because as we do more streams, as we get more viewers on, all of a sudden you're going to notice, you see how smart all these people are talking? Then there's going to be another 20 people on. They're all going to have their different theories, but it's all theories that make sense, and they know all the moving parts in Delphi, and it's almost more interesting than just reading articles, hearing the chat thread. And that's what I'm really blessed with, having this many smart people on this trial that are joining the chat thread. But I will be right back. Thank you. Oh, are you? Yeah, I got another 6 minutes. I'm going to eat it. Sorry, I'm just going to do this. I'm trying to look at all the documents. Daddy, you can eat. Okay, everybody, I am back. Thank you. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. They should just be, there should be more creators here. Where are they? It boggles my mind. Isn't this about justice for Abby and Libby? And feeling I'm very disappointed more YouTube creators are not here. YouTube creators in terms of commenting on my channel or just getting more of the message out? Whose wife? At Survivor, I know. What a lucky wife, right? Commenting. At Survivor. Yes, commenting helping. Yeah, I think because I didn't do it late enough. So I had to do something for work. I was going to do a 12 to 2 o'clock live stream. And then I had to do stuff with my company. And then I was almost too tired to do this because like at 7:30 at night, I want to do it at 7:30. I feel like, I don't know on Friday nights if it really does it because I don't have the biggest following yet. But I do know most weekdays, if you're doing it around 6:37, there'll be people hopping on more, like where I'll get like 40 at least. Um, so it's just my fault because I did this last minute. I posted this as soon as I got back to my place. I posted this within 10 minutes. So I don't know if the algorithm hit, but it's really good to see everybody. What else fun things could we do? I want to look up. Is that Gritty? Let's see what else. Okay, and again, I don't want to be someone that keeps saying this, but if you could just like the channel, it helps with the algorithm. And then again, if you feel that the content is worthy, subscribe. And the content's going to be really worthy down the line when we have our studio. So I promise you, I won't disappoint you because we're going to have like a dark backdrop and like a microphone, and it's going to be a lot real. And we're going to have other people that I know on. I'm trying to get actually Bob Matta on. If anybody has a source for Bob Matta, that'd be great. Yep. I definitely have a heart for the underdog. Definitely. Yes, let's get the bad apples out. True Crime Grit was in the channel. She's got some great content. Okay. I heard. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So let's see. Pick 3 looks like the tree. Let's go to. Hold on. Let me just check Ron Logan's stuff or Richard Allen appeal. Let's see if there's any new updates. And I can search the court records. God, it's like they hide everything on here. Hold on. And again, I have this gigantic computer that Geek Squad keeps trying to set up. We're going to be able to share all the screens and everything. It's so hard to not. Okay, okay, here we go. Latest. Ooh. Oh, nothing on Richard Allen. It's like they're trying to erase him off online. Hold on. Richard Allen. 1 hour ago. Oh, no. Richard Allen. It's all coming to light. Richard Allen. You know what I'm going to read for you guys? I don't know if you guys have heard. Wait, here. I do have the appeal where I can read a few, and I know that I've done this in a different live stream, but I can read you the way they treated this guy. Let me see. Let's go to Canva. I think I have it in Canva. Yeah, wait. It's pronounced Matta and with. Wait. This was good. Bob Matta. Yeah. Okay, but like, do you think because like I only have 100 subscribers, I'm just trying to get going. Um, is that somebody that would want to talk to a content creator that's still trying to get things going? I mean, I know I can talk turkey with them with business. I can relate to them. I'm a gentleman. I can act polite, but like, is that going to the mountaintop a little too early? Should I get a different streamer in right away? I just want to, would Bob want me on the show? Again, I should have a different background, but I'm saying, do you think it would be an uphill battle? Because I couldn't even get a gunsmith on who actually follows their channel and he's a really good dude. Okay, good. Yeah, exactly. Yep, I agree. I got to get a little bit more familiar. I got to get this podcast a little bit more polished, where it looks like I'm, a little bit more professional with our setup here, and then I can kind of go after the bigger whales. Okay, what else do we have? Let me see if I can pull up. I don't know. Would you guys want to read? Do you want me to reread to you that case? I'm sorry, the mental health section in his 113-page appeal. There's like 4 or 5 pages I have highlighted, but it's totally up to you. Or if not, we could kind of. Yeah, I was thinking that too because I did watch him and I'm like, that guy is a good dude. But I just want to make sure I'm like everything's professional, like this backdrop, right? We probably want to shake the backdrop. Oh no, Mata's ego's too big. Okay, and then how do I contact them? That's good advice. So, oh yeah, RM Productions does a great job. Sleuthy, Case, Criminality, All Eyes on Delphi. Like, what do I message them on their channel? Is there like a DM or do I find their email and that's how I message them? I probably just answered my own question, actually. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture of that, contact all of them. Thank you for the advice, Tamas. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. You are a treasure trove of advice right now for me. Okay, they usually have an email. They usually have an email and show notes. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Okay, who's this? Red Amy. Hey, Red Amy, would you like to subscribe to the channel? I don't feel like I've seen you on here. We'd love to have you as a member as long as you like our content, or even like it if you don't want to subscribe. Just like it helps. Andrea Burkhart here. I'm going to take a picture of that. That's smart thinking. You're welcome, Y2K Survivor. I'm already subscribed. Thank you very much. Funny. That's hilarious. Just been in the shadows. So what I'm trying to do too is the more subs we get, I have people a little bit higher up places that own private equity and would be able to give loans. And if I can show them I have enough subs, I can. I was working with an accountant doing a side nonprofit for Richard Allen, I don't know, for like tax purposes, and we can give him as much tax dollars as possible to the family and to a good attorney, and and really fight it because I want to get a billboard outside of the Oklahoma Penitentiary that says "Free Richard Allen," and I want to protest weekly there. Ted, what made you start this channel? So that's actually a great question. I was always interested in true crime. When I was younger, I was in third grade and we were getting abducted in Chicago. So my buddy Jay, whose dad's a director of the FBI, and me, we all lived by each other. And a guy, I'll never forget this, jumped out of a van, a green and white, like Chevy Astro van. And he had a denim jean jacket, he had denim pants, he had a khaki ski mask on, and he chased us up into their homes. So I've always been intrigued by these people. I was such a young pup and I was so scared. And then I was scared walking to the bus stop because they weren't finding this guy. They ended up not finding this guy. And then there was a few other things in my life. This is a long story. Is everybody okay with me talking about this? I have 2 more bullet points to hit to answer Shelley's question. So, hey, Bezos. So another thing was when I would visit buddies at Illinois State University, my buddy had an apartment, and next to us, they had the football team for Illinois State. But they had this really one guy that would always come over to Rob, my good buddy's house. We're all in our 20s. And they would take all his alcohol. He was a real pushy guy. He was caught. He was on the football team. And he woke me up one morning. He's like, Scott, I want to, my buddy Scott, he's like, Scott, I want to party with Scott and I want to get Ted and let's all party. So long story short, I go jogging with him. And he was hungry. He was kind of mooching off me. So I bought him McDonald's. We were young kids. And then he's yelling at the McDonald's people. He's trying to make out with every girl at the party. And I'm like, this guy's not a good dude. Then turns out 6 months roll around. I see him on Fox News or CNN, Fox News. I seen him. He burned a girl at Illinois State University. And then he killed her in a chicken coop and burned her to death. And then I dated a girl who I was 20, 21, and I really liked her. We dated, maybe went on 3 dates. And she was murdered on Christmas morning. So Christmas, so Christmas Eve, and then you have Christmas morning where you maybe go to a family's house and then you come back, right? So she wanted to leave. She was tired. They were opening gifts. She was a sweet girl. She went back to her house. The door was broken in. Well, it turns out her next door neighbor, a few houses down that went to grade school with her, sexually assaulted her with a baseball bat and killed her. And then that guy hung himself in jail. And then I also knew someone that hung himself that shared a locker with me. So I've always met, I've always run into weird stuff and met victims in it. And then Delphi really was the big one. Yeah, that was just crazy. I never thought in my life I'd meet anyone that kills anybody. And all of a sudden I'm jogging with a guy when I'm in my 20s. And I knew he was nuts. And then he's murdering a girl in Illinois State University. And then Maurice Wallace was his name. And then there's a girl. She's such a sweet girl. She was a bartender at a bar in Chicago. And her name was, it's been so long. It's actually terrible that I don't remember her name because I really loved her. But yeah, so sorry. Oh, God, what was her name? Lauren Kiefer. Lauren Kiefer. You could look it up. Oak Brook, Illinois. The worst story ever. Someone dying on Christmas Day. Yeah, it's horrible. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff. Anyone else ever? When I was in 6th grade, I was like a freshman in high school. I don't know if you have ever heard of Marshall Fields. Has anybody heard of Marshall Fields? You probably haven't if you're younger. Yeah. So Maurice Wallace would hang out with me. We all were trying to hide from him. He was nuts. And he wanted us to all go to the bars with us to pick up girls. And we would hide. We would literally hide under the couch and put blankets and say, Scott's not here. My buddy Scott's not here. Ted's not here. Rob's not here. And I knew something was up. And I left the campus because I didn't go to school there. 4 months later, he ends up killing Olademi something. Oda, I don't want to butcher her name, but I'm sitting at a house, a buddy's house, and you see his face. And it's a face because I jogged 8 miles with him, and I remember him yelling at the McDonald's people, like wanting to kill them. And I'm like, Maurice, I'm just going to buy you another Big Mac and fries. It's cold. Tell him I want it cold. I go, no. I was like, please, I'll buy another one. Just please, let's not start fights with McDonald's workers. You're deranged. So anyways, okay, so you know Marshall Fields. Okay, so where am I going with Marshall Fields? Sorry, I'm blabbing. I can't believe took her across state lines. That's crazy. Marshall Fields. Yep. Yeah, I was always in Normal, Bloomington. That's where all my buddies went to college. I'd always visit them. And we'd be at the Watterson Tower. And that was right when like Jimmy John's was getting popular. And it really dates me. But why Marshall Fields? Oh, okay. So Stratford Square. I don't know if you know a town called Bloomingdale, Illinois. It's near Schaumburg, Illinois. You're in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. I worked at Stratford Square. And there was a person at the time that worked at Honey Baked Ham. And we would go in there for Thanksgiving. We would get our ham. We would get our macaroni and cheese. And turns out Paul Runge, Paul space Runge, Paul Runge was a serial killer, murdered 10 girls. I was in that Honey Baked Ham ordering food for my mother for Thanksgiving, like a rotisserie ham back then. You could get like a sugar ham. You can get, macaroni and cheese, double stuffed potatoes. And I encountered Paul Runge. So now when I start thinking of all the different people that I've encountered, I'm like, holy cow, it is kind of spooky. So does anybody else have any more questions tonight? Would you like to call in? Sorry, I kind of just whipped this together because I wanted to say hey to everyone. I know. My dad told me growing up, and he's a psychiatrist, he goes, you'll never meet a person, because I was scared of flying. I'm not scared of flying now, but when I was younger, he said, you'll never meet a person that flies an airplane, and you'll never meet someone that killed somebody. And I'm like, really? Because it feels like every year I'm meeting somebody that either gets murdered or I'm with the person that is the murderer months before. And the guy's an unstable, crazy person that we all were hiding from him all the time. Okay, hold on. Naomi. The Abby and Libby want them caught. I had Daniel Vance arrested to get him off the streets. He is I can't see. Wait, he is in Cosseco County Jail, and there are 3 others named Abigail that look like Abigail from Delphi. Okay, Bezo Jones, nice to see you again. I've been working on a cold case that happened in 1979 about a 13-year-old girl taken to a Good Friday, I assume you're saying, and was found on Easter, stabbed and discarded at a dump site, I think. The girl was my best friend's, her boyfriend's sister. Whoa. See, we all have these stories, because that's what I think really brings us together at this channel. We all have had stuff. The case. I'm actually going to look up that case. That's pretty interesting. Okay, let's see. Appreciate you being on a good time for the European audience. Oh, good. Yeah. Of course, love the Europeans. So the Geet spirit in the sky has put us all here with all our connections, horrible crimes. I got a good feeling about you, Ted. Yep. No, it really has. You should read the book, The Secret. The Secret's a book about the, God, I want to say it right, but like everybody, positive vibes, and people are meant to know each other, and we're all on this planet, and we all give off these rays. I don't know. It's called The Secret. It's a great book about, helps you get motivated. It helps you show how the universe pays it forward to you when you give effort back to the universe, because it takes care of us, because we're living in the universe. It like wants to take care of us. I generally believe people with empathy are magnets for those types. They exploit anyone they perceive as weak, even though empathy isn't an inherent weakness, but it's often exploitable. Yeah, that's true. I don't know who Thomas Vance is. Is the voice telling the girls to get down the hill? It could be. Yeah, I'd like to hear more your take on that and why he was on the bridge and what does he have to do. Again, forgive me, I'm new to this. Yep, it's the law of attraction. Exactly. Okay, let me see. Is there anything else? Does anybody want to like or subscribe that hasn't? And I don't want to be known as a channel that asks that. I just know if somebody forgets and maybe they're like, oh, hey, I get one more subscriber. Look up Dana Charlene Butler case, the Lords of Bakerfield, about the law enforcement. Good old boys were involved and covered it up just like the Delphi case. Thomas Vance. Okay, thank you, Bezo Jones. Thomas Vance had in his phone my name and my children's name in his phone with the word shotgun above me and my kids. Yikes. I'd love for you to hop on and talk to me about that at some point. Wait. Thomas Vance is that guy that murdered those two on the walking path and the daughters ran. Isn't that him? And he's got like the real, like he hasn't slept and he's like a 25-year-old kid and he's got that hair down to here. And he got arrested at the barbershop. Is that Thomas Vance? Wait, I'm going to look that up. No, maybe I'm looking up the wrong person. I guess not. I was wrong. That's the Arkansas case. Well, where's this one at? Arkansas. Yeah, that's the Arkansas case, right? Imagine the outcome we want. Feel the feeling it's done. Let it go. Wait. Sorry, I'm reading so many things. Imagine the outcome we want. Feel the feeling it's done. Let go. Remove emotional attachment to the outcome and it will manifest. Yeah, that's a good point. No, he's a Delphi murder. Okay, sorry. Interesting. So that's a Delphi murder. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's anything else we can go over because I don't want to bore you guys. Sorry, I'm just checking one quick thing. Okay. Oh, wait, Maurice. Oh, I have pictures of all of Vance and the video recording for the girls in Delphi. Remains the outcome we want. I feel like it's getting done. Okay. Let me see what else I can whip together for you guys real quick. So, is there anybody in here that thinks they don't have enough evidence against Koberger? What should some of the next cases? I want to focus on Delphi, but I want to pick your brain. Would Idaho 4 grab people's attention, or is that kind of ship sailed for a while? Yep, she's 100% right on that. I had to speak to the comments made earlier about RA's confession, and that's why he would say that. The article with his sister was interesting. Okay, yeah, let's find an article with his sister. I forgot her name. Is it Melanie Koberger? No, there's Amy Koberger, and maybe it's Melanie. God, I cannot find. It's everywhere online. Where is? Let me see. I think the New York Post had it. Koberger. Where'd she go? The sister of Idaho. There she is, but I don't know if it's going to open up a. Koberger's sister reveals the meaning behind creepy heart drawings. Does she really talk like that? Wait, hold on. Let me see. Or is this just fake? I wonder if it's fake. Hello. Excited urine says a bunch of info on Zag Adams, Thomas' son. In this case took me away from the following the Idaho 4, but now I've been looking into it. He isn't guilty. Okay. Both murders related in a small town. Hold on, I'm just trying to get his sister. It's on every news nation. Wait, Brian Koberger's sister speaks. Okay, here. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'll read this real quick for everybody. Just give me a second. Let me see if I can get just a little bit more video of it. Let's see, tie-dyed hair. Let's go tie-dyed hair. I still cannot find this sister. This is... Here, I might have to do it this way. 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to get you guys something. Just bear with me. Thank you for your patience this evening. I don't even know if I can share this. This is Court TV, but if I go like this and just go like that, and we'll add this to the live stream. Okay, hold on. Okay, add to stage. Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to run again to the Okay, everybody, I'm back. We're just going to go over this briefly. Um, Mel Koberger to the New York Times on speculation whether her family had known all along about Brian being the killer. Wait, who's this? Okay, I have always been a person who has spoken up for what was right. I think this is a psychologist, sister, not the actor. If I've ever had a reason to believe my brother would have done anything like this, I would have turned him in. And then she goes, here, I'll have to change it, but, and then she goes on to read. Let's see if we can get her reading the next one. Hold on a second. I think there's one more. Oh, yeah, here. Okay. There's more. I'm going to read it to you. Hang on. Okay. Okay, here we go with Mel Koberger, if everyone can hear me. Um, we have Mel Koberger right here talking about. Okay, friends had described Brian as he'd been overweight as a teenager and he had a standoffish personality. Brian endured persistent bullying. Never saw Brian be violent, but could be abrasive. This is Mel Koberger from a couple days ago. This is the first time she's speaking. Hold on. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm just waiting to the next thing. Okay. Then the next thing she says that lack of violent history was one reason the family found it so disoriented to hear that Brian was accused of such a barbaric crime. In the days right before the raid, her mother cut her finger, and Brian, initially expressing disgust at the sight of blood, helped clean the cut and cover it up with a bandage. I mean, big deal, but the lack of violent history was one reason the family found it disoriented. Here, oh, wait, we talked about that one. Sorry. Okay, so that's what I got for you on that, everybody. Hope everybody's going good. Let me see. Call me if you want to talk. If I see Richard Appeals approved with a new case, no judge able to speak. Yes, me. Good deal. Okay, well, would everybody be okay if we? I'm going to do, because I shot from the hip and we kind of touched on really quick subjects because I have to go out to dinner tonight, but I wanted to get a little bit of content out. I'm really hoping it was somewhat worth your time tonight, and I promise the next time will be worth your time. Would it be okay if we chopped it now and then I can prep a little bit better for shows on this weekend? Unless someone wants to call in and pick our brains. Well, just let me know either way. Thank you. I know everybody's probably tired. It's Friday. Hopefully you don't have to work this weekend. Sounds good. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that super chat. Let me see who that was. Let me just give him a shout out. That was way too much. Please. Let me see. See if I can find the nice person. Let's see. Thank you. I hope they're a member, at least the Tooth Fairy. Wow. This case is scary. If they did, they could have done it to any one of us. Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Make sure to like this and share it if you can. And the one thing, subscribe. It'd be great if you could subscribe. I appreciate everybody's night. Have a great Friday. We're going to be back tomorrow and Sunday, and I'm going to make sure I have my ducks in a row. Again, I came out of work and I wanted to put something together really quick. This was a busy week for me, but I want to get that content out. And I'm not opposed to doing a live call-in. So, we speak to a lot of smart people on this channel. And if you want to block out your face, even if you don't want to go live and just hear your thoughts, maybe write down 10 bullet points on cases on what you think and bring up all the different suspects and bring it up why you really believe it's that person. We're not going to pass judgment on your opinion. we're going to question it, and we're going to like be intrigued by it. Like, I think that's cool. Like, I want to hear about different things because you never know, right? So, oh, wait, I think I'm way at the front of the screen. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bezos, Free Richard Allen, and Jessica Libby. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You have a wonderful evening. Have a great Friday. We'll see you on Saturday. Get yourself some good food, or, if you drink, a good drink, and just enjoy life. Every day is not given, right? Every day doesn't mean you're going to be around the next, even though, it might be. Free Richard Allen, Justice for the Girls. Yep, we're going to get a lot of money. I'm infusing my business money as well. So be safe out there, people. Oh my God, and go Bears. Nice. This is great. Tony, we are just wrapping up the show. Sorry, we're all talked out unless you want to call in. And then I don't know how to get the Christmas ornaments off of the background. So we're having a lot of technical difficulties. But yeah, I'd love to get Tony on. He's a very smart individual. He runs a company, and he's got a lot of good takes on Delphi. Thank you. I appreciate. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.